Welcome to a new podcast we're doing. It's just a very simple movie one. It's realistically just an excuse for me to watch movies I haven't seen before.
What's it unrealistically?
And unrealistically, it's the most groundbreaking podcast. A podcast with two white men. It's crazy.
Whoa! Two white men share their opinion of movies?
That they really aren't qualified to do because neither took any tertiary education in film at all.
I did 1 year of film class.
Oh, you did? You were literally just telling me today that you were doing teaching.
No, that was after. I quit university twice. So I'm extra qualified to talk authoritatively.
Am I more qualified because I was getting taught in TAFE next to the film class.
Alright, so you're hearing the opinion of two morons.
Two fucking fat morons that haven't...
Big fat Sladen sister level fat
Sladen sister. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to be trying to release these every month, try and have the same, maybe 2 or 3 different guests over.
The same movies.
Same movies, the exact same movies.
The exact same movie every month.
This month, January, is actually starting out for the 1982 version of Blade Runner. The prequel to the one meme with Ryan Gosling where he looks at a little pink girl and goes, so we have organized these movies that are completely chosen based on want on 10 separate categories ranked from 0 to 5. So at the kind of end of it, we can have a 0 out of 100 scale just to see, just to be a shitty version of IMDb. Blade Runner is a really good benchmark for sci-fi in general. I'm saying that it's half noir, half sci-fi. Newer. Shut up.
It's noir.
I said noir.
No, you said new.
It's newer.
Like you said manure.
Manure. It's half manure, half sci-fi.
It's half manure, half shit.
I love this movie. It's shit. It's really funny because obviously the thing with Blade Runner, other than it being a cornerstone and a benchmark of sci-fi, because it was a really crazy movie to be released in 1982, is the fact that it is obviously there are a bunch of different versions. We've watched it's not the final cut, it's the director's cut, because we landed on that because that's what Ridley Scott wanted it to be realistically. Yeah. That's what he wanted it to be in the movie. So we did that instead of the final cut, but we'll talk about that as well. And the theatrical cut, which I was talking to Jai about it because he's watched the movie before, I haven't, and he said don't watch the theatrical cut, it's got these stupid fucking monologues in them. And then I went back and I watched it and I was like, oh, these are fine. And then the first monologue is, Bimsy, she was a stupid faggot, I never liked her. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's so passionless in the monologues, it's just, I can't believe it.
It's crazy.
I was literally jumping up and down the walls.
I was literally making a mudslide out of shit with my excitement.
My eyeballs were bounding out of my head. I like that one wolf cartoon.
You know the one, that one.
You know. That one. That's how he delivers the monologue.
It's stupid. And the thing is that, there's 13 of them. And, the first one is, fine at best. And then it goes, straight downhill. Not even on an incline. A 0 degree down.
I don't think it adds anything at all.
No, literally nothing.
You watch, someone, trip over. And then he goes, he tripped over.
It is. I've never seen an edit to a movie that's so detrimental. Maybe except for the Star Wars remasters when Disney bought my clunky, and then you know the little green girl when they're playing the jizz and the
jizz.
Yeah, that's what the.
And he goes Rah!
And
I love that scene.
When everyone's going past, and for some reason they spotted a Stegosaurus, and they just kind of block it for half the shot. It's that's how bad the theatrical release of Blade Runner is.
The Star Wars edits are they're like the 2006 equivalent of adding Subway Surfers footage to.
Oh yeah.
To a TikTok, and George Lucas was like, man, this shot's boring. It could use some weird Stegosaurus creature or 30 ships flying past in the background, even though it makes no sense.
I think me trying to rationalize it would have been it would be fine to have. Obviously, none of them are good. it would be cool to have two of them. One at the very beginning, obviously voice acted properly, of him being like, oh, in a monologue, it's half a noir film. And then, like, I don't know, maybe when, spoilers for this 40-year-old movie, when girl herself figures out that she's a replicant. And then, like...
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel. And then the only inner monologue of him being like, would be like, shit. Like, something that's like, oh, this isn't a noir film, this is a gritty sci-fi.
I disagree. I don't think monologues really have much place
at all
in film. Like, in this film anyway. It's better to leave things unspoken. And, you know, that's what makes the other cut so much better, is that it adds to the medium when it doesn't just tell you exactly what the characters are thinking. That's what a book is for. If you want that experience, like, read a book or watch a play.
You can read this book. It's called Do Electric Sheep Dream of...
The Robots Dream of Electric Sheep.
Yeah.
But the book is very different from the film.
Yeah, it's an entire different half subplot.
It's a lot, even compared to the film, it's a lot more heavy in its theming, and it wallows in itself quite a lot.
Which is bad for a film, especially in the 80s, if you're trying to show off this sci-fi craziness.
Well, I think, even for what it is, which is a very melancholy and dark and drab experience, if it was like the book, I don't think you'd get the same level of entertainment. It'd be like, it's just watching, like, people dying and being depressed, and yeah, I think you're right about it being limited by its scope at the time. You could probably make a more accurate movie today. I don't know about it being particularly popular. You could make it, but we already have Blade Runner, so... And I feel like that's kind of come as its own thing against the book as well.
Yeah, going back to the theatrical releases, not to spoil anything, so I gave the story a 3 out of 5. Because the main thing between this is, and I can't believe the theatrical version doesn't have it, is the fact that Harrison Ford's character, Detective Deckard, doesn't dream of the unicorn. Like, I get why so many people at the very end, when he holds up the paper unicorn, was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, like,
because there's no twist in that version.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of whether or not he is a replicant himself. And it's really damn interesting.
It's in the original version, the only thing you get is the fact that he mentions 6 replicants, and so you're like, oh, 6, that's weird. There's only 5 in the movie. Well, he goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Deckard's the 4th, apparently.
I thought it was Rachel.
No, that's 5. Rachel, the end guy, the doll girl, the guy that is at the beginning that pulls out a gun, and the guy that got fried in the lightning when they were escaping.
Right.
But that's the only thing that really could translate in the original, especially because there's no unicorn scene in the theatrical. They edit the piano memory scene weirdly. So when he's looking at the pictures, when you're watching the actual director's version, the better version, I was like, oh, because he just got done talking to Rachel. Obviously is he a replicant, especially after... I was like, why the fuck is the Asian character here? I forgot his name. But, like, he's just shadowing him the entire time. And it's like, oh, at the very end, I got it. Because I'm a little slow. But at least I got it. The fact that it's like, oh, he's also a replicant. Whether that makes any sense in the story, because apparently he's already been a detective for an amount of time, is off. And I'm not sure if, like, the rape scene was necessary for him to be a replicant. Or if that was... That's the only weirdly justifiable thing I could think of for the proto-rape scene. He just gets really frisky with her, and that's a parallel to the other two at, like, the exact same scene. One shot before was them getting weirdly frisky next to the maker, the biology maker. But even then, that's why I only rated the story a 3 out of 5. Because even with the director's cut, it is still just like, I wanted
It's really weird.
Yeah, I wanted another scene to say something about.
Or like one to show their connection a bit better, because it's really weird. It's knowing the ending and like their relationship. It's fine. Yeah,
it feels like a bad M. Night Shyamalan twist that you're like, But I mean, at least it isn't the ending of the original where they drive off and Harrison Ford's like, and then we lived happily ever after and she loved me forever.
And then all of the world became better again. And the slavery stopped and everyone was happy.
And Jupiter's gate stopped crashing.
Yeah, like, why the hell are you all living in this disgusting city? Go, just move out into the beautiful, idyllic country, idiots.
That's why I screamed to everyone in New York. I go, get the fuck out!
Well, yeah, that's how the book is different as well. Like, the whole world is pretty much barren wastelands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, why are owls... why do you establish that owls are extinct, but then, there's plenty of nature for them to roam around in?
You're so stupid. I wish
we had to kill them all.
And put them in this one park that's only I can access. I still think... and the final version is different from the director's. It's basically a remaster that serves to maybe fix one scene at the very end, that pigeon scene. After the because in the original the pigeon flies up on a blue backdrop. It's very bland. On the remaster it's there's stuff in the background, but that's a very minor thing.
I mean, that's what I encouraged you to actually watch the other version, the remastered version. It was that shot specifically that was why the hell isn't it like that in the original?
I caught that immediately. I was watching, I was like, wow. And then I was like, what the fuck is that shot?
Yeah.
It took me out.
But then in the remaster, it just fits right in.
The remaster is, I would say it's weird because the year's 2024. No, the noir genre of movies is practically dead. But if you were in the 80s, I would see the theatrical if you're a fan of noir, because it is a lot grungier. The graphics aren't as dated. It feels muddier. But the remaster is well, this is sci-fi. And I like the bluer hue that it gives. I like the actual set changes that they did, especially obviously in that pigeon shot. I still think the remastered is better. But if you particularly like gritty things, I love the themes and colors and the production design. I gave this a 5. I love the fight scene at the very end. I love the theatrical version, so the final cut has a much grittier kind of camera effect over it, and it hangs on the violence a little longer, which I think is fine. But maybe in today's, if you're going for a more blue, a more sci-fi thing like the final version does, I think it's fine to not have that grainy effect on. So I would still watch the final version if I was saying it to anyone, because the difference is way more accessibility, even if it is a slightly different camera effect and the slightly different tone of hue.
Yeah. I'd probably rate them a little bit lower than you, in all honesty. I like the themes and colours, but I don't love them. I feel like its predecessor does that a bit better in terms of just visual identity. When I think of Blade Runner, the original version, I struggle to really get anything just dark in hue, and whereas in 2049 there's difference. It feels more like an actual world as opposed to just a film, which it is a film, but there's different environments with different lighting. It feels like everything is really dim in this. Even when they're in the Tyrell Corporation office, why is this office
so dusty, murky?
That's not what a company would look like. It looks like the power went out.
Yeah, the guy they blew the electrical lining with the
hanging out in shadows. It doesn't make sense. And the production and design, I feel as if it's kind of the same thing. Everything looks the same. Wherever you go, wherever you are, everything is the same. I think it does a good job of illustrating, the urban crush of the poor people are all at the bottom, but I don't think it does the other way around, where the rich people are at the top. Tyrell has this massive pyramid, and that's pretty cool, but I think it could have used a bit more gauche. I don't know though. It also works for what it's doing. Maybe it could have gone a little bit further. I liked how they had that inclusion of the mix of languages but like it's the same language. I think it was Chinese and Spanish.
Yeah.
So like they actually had people in the background speaking that language. I'd prefer more of that, honestly. Like maybe have something where exchanging something with a civilian and like he speaks something and then
a bit more of I don't know, more of the scene that expands the worldview.
Yeah, just makes it feel a bit more lived in.
Especially with the budget being the same as next year Star Wars 6 would come out. It's the exact same budget, 30 million. And it like the movies around it, like Pan's Labyrinth came out for only 9 million. It has obviously they used the budget, but for everything around them, I really felt like they could have done more other than maybe 4 different rooms.
30 million would be like close to 50 million today.
Yeah.
So
plus it was back in the 80s when, you know, Sony wouldn't drop $2 billion on a Minecraft movie that they know would be a tax write-off. Of the movies of 1980, when did this come out? 1982. Of 1981, 2, and 3, this was in the upper echelon of acceptable. Like very little was more than 30 million, especially if you compare it to Star Wars. And obviously
Star Wars was a budget film.
Star Wars 6.
Oh, Star Wars 6.
Yeah, it was right in between Star Wars 5 and 6. And 5 had a lot lower budget and still managed to do a bunch more world building. But that's why I think I write it off, mostly because I'm so sick of movies that try to world build so much. And I also think it's half a noir film that goes into gritty sci-fi.
Yeah, there's kind of too many worlds to follow now.
I still think they could have done more world building, yeah.
Well, it's not even just world building, it's just making them like
flushed out.
Yeah, feel lived in. Feel like the characters, you know, they're not just on a set doing a scene. They're actually there and speaking the language and living the culture.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're not just there to...
Deckard literally sticks out like a sore thumb when he's ordering, at the opening movie, he orders Japanese, and it's just like, it's very obviously that he's not there, and I guess you could cover it up with him being like, he's a replicant, but it's very obvious that he is acting in maybe the first half of the scene. It feels...
Yeah, who's the main character?
Oh, I wonder who it is.
Is it the guy who's not dressed the same way as everyone else? Well, so my thing is like, where are all the cops?
Yeah, I did.
Where's the police in this world? Like,
they don't do any. So when he's gunning down the replicant, the first one, no, they like stand around as he's walking up, and his boss comes up and goes, "Good job," and then leaves, and that's it. And then he immediately gets tackled by the second one. No one comes and help him. People are like slightly looking and then go, I know it's not even New York, it's California. I know it's it's a Neo America. I get it, but like surely something more.
Like in a society like this, there'll be more policing as opposed to less.
That's why the writing on this is the lowest I gave it. I gave writing a 2 out of 5 because there's like a bunch of stuff that's like how is this a twist? Why does no one react? Why is there a rape scene? I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Why did they not fully subscribe to this twist mentality? It can't decide if it wants to be cool sci-fi gritty detective mystery, but like it works for both, but like a jack of all is a master of none. Yeah, so for story, I think it's serviceable. 3 out of 5. Themes and colors, I gave it a 5. I didn't have any problem with any of the camera work or editing. I would have liked it if it expanded a bit more, so I only gave it a 4 out of 5. I would have given it a 5 out of 5 if that pigeon shot wasn't so fucking stupid. I think that the design and production was great, 5 out of 5. Nothing really stood out like a sore thumb. Man, that soundtrack is so good, especially for the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
The comparable soundtracks... I'm sorry, I don't think Star Wars has a good soundtrack. Going back, I'm a music guy. I'm trained in music. I love listening to soundtracks. This is by far maybe top 20 soundtracks of a movie. It is perfectly serviceable, doesn't stand out when it needs to, and very good for the time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I listen to Tears in the Rain all the time.
That scene is...
I think that scene alone, like, jumps up. Whatever rating it has, like, jumps it up by, like, 2.
By, like, a full rung.
Yeah.
So many directors rather, are like, that's a great... And I was like, I don't really get it. But then you look back and then, you know, actually compare it to... Because it has a lot of... It's the fact that it's about nuance and subtlety. It's like... It's very perfect. It's 4 lines. It's, I've done all this cool shit, and I'm going to die with all my memories. And it's like, oh, this is shot perfectly. Like, even the way that he's acting, and he faces downwards, and the rain drips off him, and Deckard is waiting for him to do something, and he just doesn't. He's a machine that has stopped working completely.
Yeah, it's extremely poignant, and it ties everything back together in just a fantastic way. I'd honestly bump up the writing from a 2 to 3 just because of that scene. Roy as a character is so emblematic of just the world that he was created to live in, and he sees in himself a desire to be more, and it fuels him to, you know, take his own creator's life. And like, really, I'd prefer if the movie was just about him and from his full perspective, with Deckard as like a side character. But just that premise alone sounds a bit more exciting than watching Harrison Ford like mull over the fucking thing. And
I would have loved if he was a side character, honestly.
Yeah.
And they replaced maybe the weird... I know I keep going on about it, but I can't get out of my head. It's so weird. That scene, maybe one of the intro scenes, and gave Roy maybe 4 more scenes. 4 like 5-minute flushed out scenes of maybe him in Jupiter, him watching this, and it being like a 5-second shot even of just this crazy visual effect. I know I'm asking a lot, but they had a $30 million budget, and Star Wars 5 had I think it was 20, and they did the explosion of the Death Star. I wish I got, because you don't know how long he has to live. What if at the very end he's chasing him, and you can see in the fight scene that he's like trying to remember this pain while he still has it. But like, there's no real indication in the writing or the talking that he's got a day to live.
I think I prefer it not being stated, because it adds to that whole, he could just keel her over and die at any time. It's what kind of fuels his mania, and I prefer, like, his mania is cool and it's part of his character, but I prefer if it was maybe a bit more built up.
Yes, I want it to be shown more.
I kind of don't believe someone as manic as him managed to lead this group and get them all the way onto Earth from off-world. Like that, I could foresee them becoming like that once they arrive, and you know, like, we've got to get Tyrell, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. Like,
more of us are dying,
and like, I don't know how much longer I have to live. I'm gonna.
There's no scene of like any visual or physical indication other than his like slight. It takes an entirely different turn shift as soon as he kills his creator for the second third of the movie. Yeah. Maybe if his skin was peeling off, you could see like, I don't know, red rings in his eyes even.
No, I disagree with you on that. I think it's perfect as it is. And you know, it's because you're not meant to think of him as a machine. You're meant to think of him as a human being with a human mind who was born into a machine body. That's how I think you're meant to interpret the replicants. They are people who were designed to be people by this cruel company, and it's just, like, it would never happen in the real world. Because what's the point in giving these slave machines like this thorough of emotion and this ability to experience pain? Like, what benefit would that have?
They want to. We love torture. Be
like, this would happen every day.
We love mental anguish. It's America. Of course they're going to do something like that.
I get the sequel, and
I think we'll do another full episode on that.
Yeah, we definitely should, because I'll be real. I honestly like 2049 better than the original. I think it does a lot more with the concept, with the world. Without going into it too much, because I could keep going, but you'll definitely find it a lot easier to watch as well. When I was watching it, it went over like, it's a 3-hour movie. It felt like a 1-hour movie.
I'm glad, because I thought that exact same thing on this. I was like, I want this to be a 3-hour instead of a 2-hour. You were talking about Roy's. Roy is by far the best character. His acting is perfect.
Yeah.
I gave acting a 5 out of 5. Even if I gave the writing a 2 out of 5 and the budget a 3 out of 5. But the acting is so good that it is just like, I I don't think I think Harrison Ford's the worst actor, and he did a good job as well. But
I don't think it's controversial to say that he's not really a great actor.
No,
he's a good presence. He's kind of like The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like The Rock. I don't like watching him. Just because he's always The Rock. Harrison Ford's always Harrison Ford.
He's always Indiana Jones.
Like, kind of grumpy, kind of stoic character who, like, they're a bit of a pain in the ass, but they're going to do the right thing at the end of the day.
Like, I think the reason we like Harrison Ford is because he's old and rude, but also he's only ever been in pretty much 4 films. He's Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Blade Runner, and a movie that no one cares about that came out like 2 years ago.
He's kind of like reverse Tom Holland. Where not reverse, more like anti-Tom Holland.
Anti-Tom
Where,
Holland.
he has the same
He's Red Hulk.
but appeal level, but just with the exact opposite. Like, Tom Holland is this, he's such a soft boy. He's
charismatic, so cool.
But Harrison Ford is like, he's a rougher guy.
Grizzled guy you would meet at a pub.
Yeah. You put Tom Holland in the 80s and he's not going to succeed. You put Harrison Ford in today and...
Yeah, he's going to be a fucking dick.
Yeah, people won't like him. He'll get cancelled immediately and...
What's like a version?
They'll throw him into the ocean.
With like 9 leaded like bricks.
Double concrete on his feet.
It feels weird, but the worst thing I could say about this movie is I wish there was another hour, which is a great thing to have as a problem as your movie. That's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 on runtime appropriateness. Like, I was like, I need more. The fact that you didn't give me more is malicious in intent.
Then you'll love 2049.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the perfect length, and exactly with the character that you care about. Like, it doesn't go further than what's necessary. You follow Ryan Gosling's character throughout the whole movie, and it's just, his ending is the ending. It's, you care, but you don't really care. Like, you're there for him. But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't complain with more Blade Runner.
Yeah. And I mean, this movie as a cornerstone I was talking about before, it's the most memorable movie on that year by far. Not just because of how good this movie is, but because like the only other thing that even compares is Pan's Labyrinth, and that's still a rung below. It's fucking trash.
Whoever made Pan's Labyrinth, just stop, dude. Who was that?
David Bowie and Guillermo del Toro? ?
Pan's Labyrinth.
What if I might?
Are you thinking of Labyrinth or Pan's Labyrinth? Because I thought Pan's Labyrinth came out in like 1992.
I'll put it up. Well, this movie came out in 1982. You might be just wrong by a decade. You might have just dimension shifted your mind.
No, because Labyrinth is the one with David Bowie.
Ah.
Pan's Labyrinth is the one with the eye guy.
Editor Ronan, put it up. Yeah.
Stupid Editor Ronan. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Editor Ronan. I'm gonna be like, oh, because I'm just gonna edit this tomorrow. The only bad thing, I mean, there's fives all around this, which is crazy for the first movie. When the only 2 problems you have for the actual good cut of this film is I wanted more, and Harrison Ford had some weird lines. Is pretty good. Yeah, other than like the general weirdness of the twist and like, I'm sorry, one more time. What the fuck is a rapey scene? Can you go? What was the point?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I didn't like it. That's why I put it as a 2. But overall, this got a 40 out of 50 from me.
Yeah. Let me count up mine. I had the story as a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Themes and colors as a 3. Same with production design, so 4.
Really?
So that's a 10.
I think I am
Camera
just
work and
really.
Editing, I've got as a 4. Music and soundtrack 5. Budget is, let's say 5.
Really? For $30 million? That's like that. That's as much as they put into that movie for that year.
Yeah, well, look at its contemporaries. I think it stands up alongside them.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like where's 20 million of this. Yeah.
That's fair. You know what?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Writing is a 4. Acting's a 5. Runtime appropriateness. go 4, and memorabilia is a 5. I didn't count any of that.
I'll put it up on screen.
Yeah, put it up on screen, count it, edit a Ronin slave.
Whip, bitch. You're gonna have to wake up tomorrow and edit 5 videos, you fucking idiot.
I think you put... I think we're about the same with 40. I don't know.
I mean, if it literally got an 80 out of 100, that's literally where it is on IMDb right now.
Yeah, so if you wanted to hear 2 people agree about something that already has an opinion with...
Wow.
Well, you're too late because you've already listened to this whole thing.
You fucking idiot! Why'd you listen to this?
Yeah, you stupid dumb.
This is just to shill our shitcoin.
Yeah, we're gonna be like the Hulk tour girl. We're gonna create.
Please invest in Gape coin.
Gape coin. In Roy coin.
Roy coin.
Your money will be like tears and rain.
The coin is his face when he's dead. What's that?
It'll be him alive, and then when we pump and dump, it'll be him dead.
And then when we get sued, it'll be the pigeon flying away on no backdrop for no reason.
We'll change our names and move to Mexico.
Change our names, move to Neo, California.
Yeah, we'll move into the idyllic countryside.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
We lived happily ever after.
That's what you want. You said you wanted more than shitty New York. That's the better version.
They should have shown shitty New Jersey.
Do you remember that scene in near the end before he's about to fight Roy, where like some Jawas just appear and they take the back of his carburetor off his car and he just goes fuck. I love that scene. It's so unnecessary though. They just take the back of his DeLorean.
I think it's meant to be like he doesn't have a means of escape.
Okay, but he drives off anyway. But he drives off after that.
Well, no, you don't see him driving off. Yeah,
you do. He goes, what the fuck, and then he drives into where the maker of the toys is, and to fight Roy. Also weird when Roy gets in.
I'm mistaking this.
It's like I say Jawas, they're not. They just look like Jawas because they're tiny little people with hoods on.
Yeah, man, I was like, oh, is that a gnome?
Is that a gnome? Is that a Jawa?
Is that a gnome taking my carburetor?
Where's the Star Wars version of that stupid ass meme? When the maker isn't. He's very clearly no. He's
see through him.
Can see through his lies.
I didn't like how the maker was translucent.
Stupid. He's like a jellyfish guy. They were clearly like pretty much holding him at bay so that he could use them, to get to the actual guy. But like I couldn't tell when they were coming in. Ronin, if you could put it up, maybe it's on the trailer. The Napoleon like animatronic that he has looks fucking terrified. But the guy's like just there, like they're not wrong. He's not tied up at all. He's just sitting there and he's asleep, and the doll's like doing makeup. And for some reason, the Napoleon doll's like, and there's glasses in his mouth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I feel like that was just weird for weirdness' sake, which
serviceable, I guess.
It's okay. Like I don't think just acting like a fucking idiot really portrays what I think they wanted to. Like, these are desperate people in a desperate situation. Like, I feel like that could have been portrayed a bit better. It's like what we said. Like, this movie would be, I think it would be perfect if there was more Roy and it was more, seeing a bit more of a realistic situation of how this person, because he's clearly the leader.
Yeah.
Like, they all fawn after him pretty much. How he managed to get these people
he's the only capable one. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even mind prologue series.
I would have liked it if it was revised on a writing level. Because there's just there's like 5 accounts on this movie where I'm like, why is this any up? Like, literally, why this isn't even related to the shitty twist at the end, or the actual forward plot, or to get from one scene to another. There's just random bits. Like, I like that Deckard when he's at the stripper's place where the replicant is pretending to be a stripper. He goes into the closet and puts a thing in, but like that doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
Which is like fine, but it's like, I don't know, maybe we should revise the scene for it to somehow come up, or for him to be interrupted. Like,
the pictures and you see his pants get a bit tighter.
Yeah, man.
Like in Shrek. There's a scene where Deckard's in bed with like silk sheets. And then he does the Lord Farquaad thing. Put it up on screen. Where like
no, don't put it up on screen.
Put it up on screen. Make it like Checkerbox.
I don't know, maybe if he revised it so like as he's putting it in, the replicant's like, because who cares, it's a replicant, why would you care about being seen naked? But like whatever. This movie's still great, it's classic, I think it's awesome.